Hello, welcome back to my channel. I have been working on redoing my bathroom. It has taken a while, and we recently replaced the old tub with a new Clawfoot tub, and the old tub works great. It's just like a little bit rusty, a little bit banged up, and so getting rid of it makes me really sad. A month or so ago, I was watching like a travel influencer, and she went to an Airbnb that had an outdoor Clawfoot tub, and I was like, that's life for me. I love my backyard in the summer. Summers, especially in Utah, like they're warm in the evening. It's so nice. So I'm like, I want an outdoor tub and I'm gonna use it. And it's gonna make my life, like, swimming is fun, but mostly what I want to do in a swimming pool is float. So we're gonna make an outdoor tub. Let me show you the area where it's going. Just as a warning, it's terrifying. It's not terrifying, but it's the window outside of the bathtub. So while my husband was renovating and it was freezing cold this winter, he just took the wood that he removed from the bathroom and threw it out the window, which is fine, but now we need to clean it up. So here's the tub, and you can kind of see like one side is not painted well. The other side I had painted cute because that's the side you could see, and I couldn't like move the tub to get to the other side. So I'm gonna have to paint the whole thing. Add that to my to-do list. And then over here is where it's gonna go. So the first thing we really need to do is clean it up. With the wood, some of it is reusable. It's really good wood. Some of it we will burn when we have outdoor fires, like to cook our dinner. And some of it is just like too horrible that like it's been painted and you don't really want to burn painted stuff. So that will be thrown away. But mostly we will be reusing or burning everything. Today we're working on the tub again, and first thing I need to decide is what color to paint it. So one side is rainbow and then the other side is green. So this is the side that was facing the wall. I couldn't paint it. It was like too heavy, too hard to move. So it was originally this color sometime. But I'm thinking also rainbow stripes on here, maybe. But the first thing I have to do for sure is to scrape off all of the paint that's kind of peeling off, because if you just paint over peeling paint, it'll crumble off while you paint, and then the paint you have won't stick and it'll all look terrible. So I'm just using a scraper and getting that all off and kind of cleaning off anything that's just flaking off. Now it's time to paint. I decided to just do this side all pink. It'll be kind of closest to the wall, so you're not going to see it a ton. So I'm like, I'll save some time, paint it pink. But the end that you are going to see, I definitely want to have that be a fun color. So I decided to sketch out some ideas. And the one I decided I liked the best was 2 bouquets of flowers with like bows on them. Totally fun. I painted a few things in my backyard, and I think this will go perfectly with them. The legs on the Clawfoot tub were really bad. The front ones I had painted gold, but the back ones were just kind of like raw metal. So I'm using this paint. It's called Liquid Gold Leaf, and I can link it in the description. And you have to make sure to shake it really well, but then when you paint it on, it's like painting liquid gold, and it works so good. After I did the mock-up, I brought a Sharpie outside and I drew the outline of everything I was thinking. 3 flowers on each side, a bow, kind of simple. And then I started with some latex paint I had on hand and started filling in, I kind of made a coloring sheet and I just filled in the blank spaces. So it wasn't super hard. It was a little uncomfortable painting on the ground, and I needed to do 2 coats to get full coverage. And then I went back over with the Sharpie to kind of fill it in again, and I am thrilled with how it's looking. I think it's very cute, and I mean, if you're gonna have a tub outside, might as well have some fun with it. My husband spent a while leveling out the area where the tub will go. He used pavers and some gravel to just kind of create a nice level area. And he purposely made it so the back legs are higher than the front legs, so there's a bit of a slope so that the water will drain correctly. And then my husband started on the plumbing. So the plan with the plumbing is that from the bathroom, I'm going to open the window and use the hose from the bathtub to fill up this bathtub. Because in the past, I've had a stock tank pool and I've used a hose to fill it up and it's freezing. I want warm water. So that's how I'm going to fill it up. And then my husband is hooking up his plumbing stuff. So we're going to have a drain. We're going to have the overflow. Those will connect out on the end. And then we are also adding another piece. And this is how we will hook a hose up to it. So when we drain the tub, we can use the hose to water our plants. We'll only be using this tub in the warm weather. And so I think it's really important to be able to reuse the water and just, water stuff with it. And then we move the tub into place. This thing is heavy. It's like at least 200 pounds. So it's kind of heavy for me, but we got it into place. We got it level. and it's looking pretty cute. It's so plain over here. I feel like I need to add some things like plants and drapes and stuff. So in the upcoming days, those additions are going to really bring it all together. Today, my focus is on working on the curtains. So I have an ambitious idea for this. I'm taking drop cloths that you can get from the hardware store, and I am going to make them curtains for some privacy outside. My husband hung some old drape rods we had outside that'll work across the front and the side of the tub. For the drop cloths, I want them to be rainbow. I also need to shorten them a little bit. I brought them outside and they're about a foot too long. So I trimmed off about 14 inches from the top on all 4 panels, and that'll leave it so that I can still fold over the top and have a pole pocket. Next, I'm cutting the drop cloth into 2-foot strips. So each drop cloth will become 3 strips, and that's because these will be rainbow. So I want them cut into pieces so that I can dye them. To dye these, I'm boiling water and then I'm putting them in a clear bin, and I'm adding a tablespoon of salt. Before drying the drop cloths, I get them as wet as I can because if they're wet, they will dye evenly. I'm using the clear bin because I don't have a pot big enough to dye these, and I'm doing 2 of the strips at a time. So I'm doing 6 different colors. Once I have the water in, I add the dye, I add the salt, and then I add the drop cloth, and I give it a really good mix. I always make sure to wear gloves because you don't want to dye your hands. And I mix it periodically, but I leave it in the water for at least 30 minutes so it gets like a nice good color. Once I'm done dyeing it, I take it out of the dye bath and I rinse it into the sink, and I rinse it until the water comes clear. It takes a while, honestly. This is a slow process. It took me probably 3 hours to do the dye. And it's really labor intensive too because you're wringing out the fabric, you're stirring it, you're walking back and forth, boiling water, but you get these really beautiful pieces. Once all of them were dyed, I threw them in the washing machine and then in the dryer, and I washed them all together. I wasn't worried about them bleeding because we stopped the dyeing process when you run them through the cold water. After I dyed my first 2 sets of drape panels, I decided I needed to serge the end where I had cut it. This is because I could see they were kind of fraying a little bit, so serging it will make them not fray, and also you'll dye the string that's used to finish the edge, so it'll blend in better if you do it now. I'm also spray painting some tiebacks we're going to use for the curtains once they're done. And then on the window, I am painting that with like a little scallop detail. I already had this outdoor pink paint on hand, so I am considering this a free project, and I just feel like this corner needs a little more personality, so scallops will do that. Now that the drop cloths are done, we're going to start sewing them back together. So I purposely made it so it'll go in rainbow order. So pink will go next to orange. So I'm putting them right sides together and just pushing that through the sewing machine, sewing a long 7-foot hem on it essentially. And then I am repeating that for each color. So one panel set will have pink, orange, yellow. Another one will have green, blue, purple, and I have a set of each of those. Okay, today is the day we're gonna finish the outdoor tub area, and I've got to finish sewing those curtain panels. So at the top, what I'm noticing is when they're coming together, they're not all the same height. What I didn't realize is the drop cloths, they're like so cheap, so they're just like inconsistent with the size. So what I should have done was been like, I cut one drop cloth, here it is, so that it will stay together. I should have dyed it and remembered like this is all from one drop cloth, sew this all together. I didn't do that. So at the top it's uneven, so I'm just going to draw a line on the top and then serge that so that it's just one long line, and then I'm just folding it over 3 inches and ironing it flat. And then I am sewing right where that serged line was. And this is gonna make a pole pocket, so later when we go to hang it, there's a place to hang the drop cloths. When I was washing these, I made a huge mistake. They got really knotted together, and my husband threw them in the dryer, I think in a knot, or they knotted together in the dryer and dried that way, and the creases are so bad. So I'm rewashing them, and then we are hanging them up outside. We're just using the rods that we hung yesterday and putting them up, and then hopefully they'll dry a lot smoother than the huge wrinkled mess they are. Unfortunately, the drapes are still a huge wrinkled mess. I've tried spraying them with a wrinkle release spray, not working. My husband then went over and steamed them for a long time, and while he was steaming them, I put everything in the bathtub area to like make it adorable and cute, plants and all that kind of stuff. And we are now ready to show you the reveal of our outdoor tub. So when we first hung the curtains, I was like, this is magic. It felt so fun, the bright colors, and they really match the pergola shades I did a few years ago, and those have like lightened up from being in the sun. So the shades on the bathtub will also lighten up. It really feels like a circus tent kind of with the stripes, and obviously I'm a stripe fan, I'm a rainbow fan, so I think it's really fun. And with outside, I feel like everything's so neutral. You can really do fun bright colors because, like, why not? It's been cold here, like in the 50s, so I haven't had a chance to do my outdoor tub yet and actually test it out, but I wanted to show you we can open the window from the bathroom and easily use the hose from there, and it'll fill up really easily. So I'm excited about that, and I cannot wait till my first soak. Lots of people were like, this is weird, and then some people were like, oh, I grew up taking baths outside as a kid and I loved it. And some people are like, I'm a bath lover, you're genius. So to some it might be weird. To me, I'm like, I think it sounds nice. Like, think about a nice warm summer night staring up at the stars, and we have privacy now. I don't think the front curtains are not totally necessary. The side curtains are. We have a side neighbor, so it's good to have that blocked off, but I can't wait. I think it's going to be such a fun addition to our outdoor space. I hope you like this project. I think it was really fun. Most of the items we upcycled or repurposed, so I think that is great. It wasn't super expensive. I did buy the drop cloths, so it was like in the $60 range for those, but everything else, like the curtain rods, we had on hand, so it was really affordable. I have a blog post with more written details if you prefer that, if you want to try this project yourself. So in the next few weeks, we're going to be finishing up the inside of the bathroom part, so I think that'll be really fun. If you're not already, please subscribe so you can see that, and if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. That's how I know to make more videos just like this.